All right, strap yourselves in because today we're diving deep into one of those mysteries that'll leave you scratching your head, the Fresno Nightcrawlers.
Yeah.
You know, those weird leggy figures that popped up on camera and seemed to completely defy logic.
Right.
We've got a ton of research piled up, eyewitness accounts, and even some footage analysis.
Uh-huh.
So get ready for a wild ride as we try to make sense of these things.
What makes this case so fascinating is that it all started with something so ordinary.
Like what?
A home security camera.
Really?
Picture this. You're in Fresno, California, sometime between the late 90s and early 2000s.
Okay.
You're casually checking your security footage, and bam, there they are. These totally bizarre figures just strolling through your yard.
I bet that homeowner nearly jumped out of their skin.
Right.
And we're not talking about just some blurry figure either.
Nope.
This was two distinct entities, practically all legs, with these tiny little torsos and no visible arms or heads.
It's true.
And the way they moved, it was so smooth and gliding, almost like they were floating.
Exactly.
Of course, that footage didn't stay hidden for long.
Nope.
It got uploaded to YouTube and went viral almost instantly, racking up millions of views.
Millions.
Even major news networks picked up the story.
Yeah, suddenly everyone was talking about the Fresno Nightcrawlers.
Oh, I bet.
Was it a prank?
A weird animal.
Or something extraterrestrial.
It's like the mystery blew up overnight.
Right.
Speaking of mysteries, there's a term that comes up a lot in these kinds of cases, cryptozoology.
Right.
For those who aren't familiar, it's basically the study of creatures whose existence hasn't been scientifically proven yet.
Oh, okay.
Think Bigfoot, the Loch Ness Monster.
Sure.
Those creatures that live on the fringes of what science considers real.
I get it.
And the Fresno Nightcrawlers, well, they definitely fit the bill.
They do.
But what's so interesting about them is that they don't quite fit into any existing cryptid profiles.
That's right.
Their appearance is so unique.
It's true.
So bizarre that it sparked a whole new wave of theories and speculation.
Yeah.
So we've got this grainy footage,
Yep.
a homeowner with this wild story,
Right.
and the entire internet going crazy.
Very much.
Where do we even begin to unpack all of this?
Well, I think a good place to start is with the most popular theory,
Which is
the extraterrestrial hypothesis.
aliens, huh?
I mean, you look at the Nightcrawlers,
Yeah.
no discernible features, those strange body proportions. It does seem kind of alien, doesn't it?
I guess so.
Like something designed, not evolved.
Right. Totally defying our understanding of how creatures on Earth work.
Exactly.
So it does check a lot of the boxes for a weird alien creature.
It does.
But I'm sure there are other explanations out there.
Oh, absolutely.
Ooh.
Well, one theory that seems to resonate with people,
Okay.
particularly those who are into paranormal phenomena,
Yeah.
is that the Nightcrawlers are actually spiritual entities.
Spirits?
Some even link them to Native American folklore,
Oh, wow. How so?
suggesting they might be guardians of the earth, or maybe even beings from another dimension.
That's pretty interesting, especially since some Native American legends do mention similar creatures.
They do.
But it makes you wonder, if they're these protective spirits, why are they only showing up now?
Right.
On security cameras of all things?
Right.
Like, what's changed?
It's a good question.
And it's one that fuels a lot of debate.
It does.
You know, it raises the possibility that maybe these entities have always been around. But something in our world, or maybe our technology, has made them more visible to us.
It's possible.
So we're talking maybe a shift in their world,
Maybe.
our world,
Maybe.
or even some kind of dimensional bleed through.
It's getting pretty out there.
I know, right?
But that's what's so fascinating about this topic.
It is.
It pushes us to consider possibilities beyond what we currently understand about reality.
So aliens and spirits are on the table.
So far.
What about folks who prefer more down-to-earth explanations? Could the Nightcrawlers be some kind of undiscovered species? You know, a cryptid hiding right under our noses?
It's certainly a possibility.
I mean, new species are being discovered all the time.
They are.
Even in this day and age.
It's true.
You know, like the okapi. It was discovered in the early 1900s.
Oh, wow.
And it looks like a zebra mixed with a giraffe.
Crazy.
It's a perfect example of how nature can still surprise us.
Definitely.
So maybe the Fresno Nightcrawlers are just another example of nature's creativity.
Maybe.
But let's be real.
Okay.
There's always another side to these stories.
There is.
The skeptics.
Right.
Do they have any explanations that don't involve little green men or interdimensional beings?
Of course.
What do they say?
Well, the skeptic in me always leans towards the possibility of a really clever hoax.
Oh, interesting.
Could the Fresno Nightcrawlers just be some well-crafted puppets or costumes?
Okay.
Or even CGI, you know?
I guess we can't rule that out completely.
We can't.
But if it is a hoax, how did they pull it off so convincingly?
Right.
That footage looks pretty darn real.
It does, and that's where things get even more interesting.
How so?
Because if it's a hoax, it would
Yeah.
have to be incredibly well-planned and executed.
I suppose so.
Not only would the footage have to be convincing,
Right.
but the creators would have to stay completely anonymous,
Sure.
which adds a whole other layer of complexity to the mystery.
So we've got 4 main theories in play here.
We do.
Aliens, spirits, undiscovered cryptids, and a potential hoax.
Yeah.
Each one with its own set of intriguing possibilities. But none of them quite solve the puzzle completely.
And that lack of closure, that lingering sense of mystery, that's precisely what keeps people coming back to the Fresno Nightcrawlers year after year.
Makes sense.
We're wired to seek explanations, you know,
We are.
to try and understand the world around us.
Right.
But when we're faced with something that defies easy categorization,
Like these strange leggy figures.
Ex-
It triggers a deep curiosity within us.
it does.
It's like a giant question mark stamped right on our understanding of reality.
It is.
And that brings us to another fascinating aspect of this case.
What's that?
The Fresno Nightcrawlers haven't just sparked scientific debates and paranormal investigations.
Yeah.
They've become a full-blown cultural phenomenon.
Absolutely. They've captured the public imagination in a way that few other cryptids have.
For sure.
You see them everywhere.
Yeah.
TV shows, internet forums, even artwork and merchandise.
Really?
They've become a symbol of the unknown, of those mysteries that are still out there, just beyond our grasp.
Speaking of TV shows,
Yeah.
I remember a really interesting episode of Fact or Faked. Paranormal Files
Oh, yeah.
that focused on the Fresno Nightcrawlers.
Uh-huh.
It's fascinating that even a show dedicated to debunking paranormal activity couldn't completely dismiss this case.
I know.
What I found intriguing about that episode was that they went beyond just analyzing the original footage.
They did.
They actually traveled to Fresno, interviewed witnesses,
Yeah.
and even tried to recreate the footage using different techniques.
That's cool.
So what did they find?
Well,
Were they able to debunk it? Or did they end up with more questions than answers?
well, that's where things take an even more interesting turn.
Really?
They did manage to create some pretty convincing recreations
Oh.
using puppets and clever lighting.
Huh.
But even after their investigation, they admitted that there were elements of the original footage that they couldn't fully explain.
So even the experts were left scratching their heads.
Pretty much.
It's like the more we learn,
Yeah,
the deeper the mystery becomes.
it's true.
And that, my friend, is where we're going to leave you hanging for now.
Oh, come on.
Don't worry, we'll be back soon to dive even deeper into the Fresno Nightcrawler rabbit hole.
Okay.
We'll explore why these creatures are so psychologically appealing,
Right.
why they resonate with us on such a primal level, and what it all says about our fascination with the unexplained.
Sounds good.
So stay tuned,
Okay.
because we're just getting started.
Right.
In the meantime, we want you to think about this.
Okay.
What's the one detail, the one piece of this puzzle that stands out to you the most? What makes you wonder?
I'll think about it.
We'll be back soon to explore those questions and more.
Looking forward to it. Welcome back. So before the break, we left you with a bit of a cliffhanger.
We did.
The one detail about these Fresno Nightcrawlers,
Uh-huh.
that really gets to you.
Yeah, it's amazing how something as simple as that grainy footage
I know, right?
can spark such intense curiosity and debate.
It really is.
For me, it's got to be the way they move.
Their movement.
Yeah, that smooth, almost gliding motion. It's unlike anything I've seen in nature.
It's definitely unique.
It's almost hypnotic.
Uh-huh.
And to be honest, a little unsettling.
I can see why you'd say that, and you're not alone in feeling that way.
Really?
It's one of the main things that fuels all the speculation about their origins.
Oh, I bet.
Some folks see it as evidence of some kind of advanced technology. Like what?
Maybe an anti-gravity system, something we can't even comprehend.
Whoa, that's pretty out there.
It is, but I can see how someone might jump to that conclusion.
Yeah, it's like they're breaking the laws of physics.
As we know them, at least.
Right, exactly.
But couldn't it also point to some unique biological adaptation?
Oh, interesting.
You know, something we just haven't encountered in the animal kingdom yet.
Like some kind of crazy evolution we don't understand.
Exactly.
That's where the cryptid theory really starts to take hold.
It does.
What if the Fresno Nightcrawlers are proof that life on Earth is even more diverse than we thought?
It's possible.
A species so perfectly adapted to its environment that it's developed these incredibly long legs and this bizarre movement that seems to defy gravity.
Makes you wonder.
But if they're a new species, why haven't we found any other evidence?
What do you mean?
No footprints, no droppings, no nests, nothing.
Right. That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
It's one of the biggest challenges for the cryptid theory. Yeah, I see that.
If these creatures are real, why is it so hard to find proof?
Maybe they're incredibly stealthy.
It's possible.
Or maybe they live somewhere so remote and hard to reach that we just haven't stumbled upon them yet.
Yeah.
Or what if we're just not looking in the right places?
What do you mean?
What if our idea of what counts as evidence is too narrow?
Interesting point.
Maybe we need to broaden our perspective.
You're right. You're hitting on something crucial here.
What's that?
Our scientific methods are constantly evolving.
They are?
And it's entirely possible that we need new tools and new approaches.
Okay.
If we want to detect and understand creatures like the Fresno Nightcrawlers.
Almost like we're trying to solve a puzzle with the wrong pieces.
Yeah, like we're forcing a square peg into a round hole.
Exactly.
And that's what makes this whole case so fascinating.
I agree.
It forces us to rethink our assumptions and consider possibilities that go beyond what we currently understand.
I like that.
So, we've talked about the cryptid angle, but I can't help but circle back to the extraterrestrial hypothesis.
Oh, the aliens.
The aliens, I mean, those long legs.
Yeah.
The lack of any real features, that smooth, almost floating motion. It does seem to fit a certain idea of what we think aliens might look like, doesn't it?
Yeah, kind of.
And it's a powerful archetype, one that taps into our deep fascination with the possibility of life beyond Earth.
That we're not alone in the universe.
Exactly. It's a profound concept.
It is.
And the Fresno Nightcrawlers, with their otherworldly appearance, well, they seem to embody that possibility.
It's like they're a walking, or rather gliding, Rorschach test for our beliefs about the universe.
I like that analogy.
We project our hopes and fears onto them.
We do.
Filling in the gaps with our own interpretations.
That's a brilliant observation.
Yeah.
It really speaks to the power of ambiguity. The way it can spark our imaginations.
For sure.
And force us to confront the limits of what we know.
But we can't forget about the spiritual entity theory either. It seems to resonate with people on a really deep personal level.
It does.
There's something about the unknown, the mysterious, that seems to tap into a very primal part of our psyche.
I agree. The spiritual entity theory offers a sense of wonder and connection to something bigger than ourselves.
I can see that.
It suggests that there might be forces at work in the universe that we don't fully understand, forces that might even go beyond our current scientific paradigms.
Almost like a modern-day mythology.
Yeah.
A way of making sense of the things we can't explain.
Through storytelling and symbolism and just like ancient myths.
Okay.
The story of the Fresno Nightcrawlers changes over time.
Interesting.
Taking on new meanings and interpretations as it's passed from person to person, from generation to generation.
So we've revisited aliens, cryptids, and spiritual entities.
We have.
But there's one more thing we need to address.
What's that?
The one that always makes me a little uneasy.
The hoax theory.
The hoax theory, yeah.
Right, and we have to acknowledge that possibility.
I guess so.
Even if it's a little disappointing.
It is.
I think the hoax theory is especially compelling in this case.
Why?
Because the footage is so strange, so seemingly impossible. It does make you wonder if someone out there is having a good laugh at our expense.
I get that. But if it is a hoax, wouldn't someone have come forward by now?
You'd think so.
Just for the bragging rights?
Right?
That alone would be a pretty strong motivation.
You would think.
I mean, to say, hey, I fooled the whole world.
Yeah, but maybe they're content to stay anonymous. You know, just let their creation take on a life of its own.
Oh.
Or maybe, just maybe.
Go on.
They're still out there planning their next move.
Really?
Waiting for the perfect moment to reveal their masterpiece.
That's a little creepy.
It is kind of like the mystery has a mind of its own.
I know, right?
Evolving and adapting as we try to figure it out.
So where does that leave us?
Well, it brings us to a crucial question.
What's that?
Why are we so captivated by the Fresno Nightcrawlers?
Good question.
What is it about these strange creatures?
I mean, they are pretty bizarre.
That keeps us so fascinated, even after all these years.
I think it's because they've tapped into something primal within us.
Oh, okay.
This deep fascination with the unknown. They represent all those mysteries that are still out there.
Yeah.
The things that make us question what we think we know about the world.
And in a world that often feels predictable and mundane, the Fresno Nightcrawlers offer us a glimpse of something extraordinary.
Something different.
Something that defies easy explanation.
I like that.
They remind us that there are still wonders to be discovered.
That's true.
Even in this age of technology and information overload.
It's a reminder that we don't have all the answers.
We don't.
That there are still gaps in our knowledge.
There are.
And that's okay.
It is.
Actually, those gaps are what make life so interesting.
I agree.
The not knowing.
Yeah.
The uncertainty. It keeps us curious.
It does.
Keeps us searching.
For sure.
Keeps us engaged with the world around us.
So, what does it all mean?
What do you think?
Where do we go from here?
Good questions.
We have all these theories.
We do.
Each with its strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
But none of them give us a definitive answer.
Nope.
And you know what?
What?
That's the beauty of it.
How so?
Sometimes the most compelling mysteries are the ones that stay unsolved.
It's like trying to put together a puzzle.
Uh-huh.
But some of the pieces are missing.
Right.
Or maybe they don't even belong to the puzzle in the first place.
Exactly.
And that's where our own interpretations come in.
They do.
We fill in the gaps.
Yeah.
With our own beliefs, our own experiences,
right.
Our own sense of what's possible.
So the Fresno Nightcrawlers become a reflection of ourselves.
That's a cool way to look at it.
A reflection of our own curiosity, our fears, our desire to make sense of the unknown.
You know, it's wild to think that the Fresno Nightcrawlers, something caught on a simple security camera, have become this huge cultural phenomenon.
That is pretty wild.
You've got all these theories flying around, aliens, spirits, a new cryptid, even a super elaborate hoax.
Right.
But no matter what you believe, they've really captured people's imaginations.
They really have. And I think part of the reason they resonate with us so much is this human need to believe in something beyond the ordinary.
I get that.
You know, in a world that's increasingly all about technology and logic, the Fresno Nightcrawlers offer a glimpse of something, well, magical, something mysterious, something that reminds us there are still things out there we just don't understand.
You know, it's funny you should say magical.
Oh, yeah.
When I first saw that footage, I got this strange feeling.
Like what?
Like I was watching something out of a fairy tale or a myth.
Interesting.
It wasn't just how weird the Nightcrawlers looked.
Okay.
It was the whole atmosphere.
Yeah.
The grainy footage, the darkness, how they moved so silently, so effortlessly.
Yeah.
It felt, I don't know, otherworldly.
That's a really good way to put it, and I think that speaks to another reason why they've become so popular.
Okay, how so?
They're like this blank canvas.
Oh, interesting.
Where we can project our own beliefs and fears and fantasies.
I see.
For some people, they're aliens. For others, they're a symbol of the spiritual realm.
Right.
And for some, they're just a reminder that there are still mysteries in the world.
Mysteries that science can't explain.
Exactly.
So are you saying the truth about the Fresno Nightcrawlers might not actually be as important as the stories we tell ourselves about them?
I think there's some truth to that. You know, our minds are wired to look for patterns.
Okay.
Create stories, even when we don't have all the information.
That makes sense.
So when we don't have concrete answers, we fill in the gaps with our own interpretations.
We do.
We draw on our cultural backgrounds, our personal experiences, even our hopes and fears.
So in a way, the Fresno Nightcrawlers become a mirror. Reflecting our own worldviews.
Exactly. They force us to look at our own beliefs.
About the nature of reality.
Right. About what's possible, what's not.
And that's a pretty powerful thing.
It really is.
You know, as we've been talking, it's hit me that there's another aspect to this mystery we haven't really discussed.
What's that?
The role of technology.
Oh, right.
I mean, think about it.
Okay.
It's no coincidence that the Fresno Nightcrawlers appeared.
When?
Right when home security cameras were becoming more and more common.
You're absolutely right. The rise of cameras and the internet has totally changed how we see and interact with the unexplained.
In what way?
Now, anyone with a smartphone can capture something amazing and share it with the whole world instantly.
It's like we're all carrying around these little windows into the unknown.
I like that.
Ready to document the next big mystery.
Maybe that's exactly what the Fresno Nightcrawlers are.
What do you mean?
A sign that the unexplained is becoming more visible.
Okay.
More accessible in this digital age.
It's a fascinating thought.
It is. Maybe they're not just a puzzle to be solved, but a sign of a bigger change in how we relate to the unknown.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm left with, well, more questions than answers.
I understand.
Are the Fresno Nightcrawlers aliens, spirits, a new species, a hoax? Or something else entirely?
Who knows?
I don't know, but I do know this.
What's that?
They've made us think outside the box,
Right.
question what we thought we knew, and embrace the mysteries that are still out there.
And that, I think, is the real legacy of the Fresno Nightcrawlers.
What do you mean?
They remind us that the world is still full of wonder.
It is.
That there are still things out there that we can't easily explain.
Yeah.
And that the journey of discovery is just as important as the destination.
Well said to all our listeners. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of the Fresno Nightcrawlers.
It's been a pleasure.
Keep questioning, keep exploring, and never lose that sense of wonder.
Don't.
Who knows what mysteries you might uncover?
You never know.